Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Tony Plays The Binding of Isaac. I hope everyone's doing alright. I'm doing pretty good myself. Today we're going to be going after Tainted Bethany. Love this character. She's very cool. Only downside I could ever think of honestly saying for this character is, one, I am pretty much bound to only spirit hearts, so that's going to make survivability kind of hard because I can't replenish HP like that. And two, what's the word I'm thinking of? My wisps give me items, but those wisps can be destroyed. I'm pretty sure you guys remember that one time I had Lemigaton as, I forgot what character, I think it was Tainted Isaac. It was Tainted Isaac and I got Lemigaton, which is really good because it pretty much removes his one biggest flaw in that he can only hold 8 items, and it gave me way more than I could ask for. But you know, regardless of that, it is what it is. Hope everyone's doing alright. I'm doing pretty okay myself. Dude, besides last night's episode, or last night's recording, where I was talking about how, like, proud I am of myself for making that, oh no, we're playing unmodded. God damn it, man. I already started the recording too, it's too late. Like I was saying, besides last night's episode where I was talking about how I was proud for, you know, making my food items and such, I actually made a meal and it turned out to be pretty good. I ended up having that earlier today for like breakfast, because I'm gonna be real, I feel like in recent time, I don't know why, I've just kind of been forgetting to eat, or I feel like I've been criminally under eating, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, I should be intaking more food, that's the healthy option, but I've kind of been slacking on that because, I mean, you know, I'm the one in charge of cooking my own food, and if that's not the case, then I'm gonna forget, you know what I mean? Although luckily, now that I actually cooked that like big ass pot of the chicken pot pie thing, I've been pretty solid. I've been pretty sturdy recently. Like, I was hungry as hell this morning and I was like, oh damn, I should have ate something, you know? I was low-key thinking of going to the store, getting some cereal, but I just wasn't sure, you know? Because if anything, what was I gonna get? Like Cinnamon Toast Crunch? God, love that cereal, man. You know, it's funny story. I got like a real rocky relationship with CTC, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, because growing up, we used to live in Oakland. You know, I mentioned this before. I used to live back in Oakland, and I used to go to a school that was like 1 or 2 towns away. So it'd be like a 20-minute drive on the freeway, or like 25 minute drive on the freeway to get to school, because, I mean, 1, traffic, 2, we lived a decent ways away. So every morning I would have to wake up mad early to, like, you know, get ready for school, and also so I can go to school while my dad was able to like actually go drop me off and then drive like 3 cities the opposite direction to go back to work, or to go to work. So kind of what ended up happening was every day I would wake up and my dad was like a very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like that kind of person where it's like, you got to eat breakfast, it's the most important meal of the day, serving it up Gary's way. You know that kind of thing? So every morning we would, you know, he wouldn't like make me food really. He'd kind of just like, you know, pour me a bowl of cereal because we didn't have enough time for food to be made in the morning. So he would just pour me a bowl of cereal. And every time we went to the store, my mom and my dad, they always got the same one cereal. And I feel like it's that kind of deal where it's like you tell your friend, or you tell someone like, hey, I like this one thing, and like now it's like all they think that you care about or like love, you know what I mean? Or it's like for me, I'm like, yeah, I like Dragon Ball. I think Dragon Ball is cool. And like now someone tries to talk to me about exclusively Dragon Ball, or, you know, anytime they get me a gift, it's like only Dragon Ball related or something like that. You know what I mean? You guys, I would hope, have had like this experience before. Even though it's like, yeah, I like Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball's cool. I watched it with my brother growing up, and also, you know, in recent time. But in my opinion, there's more animes that I like. Like, I like Dragon Ball. I think it's really cool. But I would say that my number one anime is like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So in my opinion, I would like to get more JoJo stuff or talk about JoJo more than I would, you know, Dragon Ball. But in this hypothetical scenario here, this person only sees me for my Dragon Ball enjoyment. That's kind of the deal here. So I don't know if I just told my parents that like Cinnamon Toast Crunch was my favorite cereal or whatever. And it's not like it was a price thing either, because my parents went to Costco to get the food. They would always go to Costco to get like whatever food item. And anytime they went to Costco, they would always only ever get the one cereal, and it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And like I said, I'm not against CTC, bro. CTC's mad fire. I think it's hella good. But the only, I'm not even joking, it was like the only, literally the only cereal that I ate for 90% of my years growing up. It was Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And I'm gonna be real with you, at a certain time, I was just like, fuck this, dude, excuse my language, but like, I can't do this. I can't handle it anymore. I have eaten too much Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I now hate it. I despise this stupid freaking food item. And you know, it just kind of turned out, I don't think I actually hate Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I think, like I said, I just had too much of it. Because I took like I didn't even realize there was a Tinted Rock there. What the hell? I took like a very, very long break from Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And then later on in life, I'm like, you know what? Later on in life, I'm like, you know, I think I'm ready to try it again. And so what do? I try Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And who would have guessed? It's peak. It's cinema. Dare I say the words? I try Cinnamon Toast Crunch again, and guess what? I actually really like it. I think I just kind of had it for too long, too many times. Because it was the only cereal they ever bought. No, my bad. They also bought Frosted Flakes, but my brother would fucking kill me if he ever saw me eating his Frosted Flakes. Because my brother is like Frosted Flakes #1 fan. I like, you know, I don't know what it is. Everybody loves Frosted Flakes, right? Am I tripping for saying this? Everybody loves Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes are one goated as hell, top tier item. But yeah, dude, it's just like, come on, bro, you can't do that to me. Have mercy. The old ball and chain. Talking about the old ball and chain, am I right, fellas? My wife. Sorry. Bad joke. I don't even watch Borat or anything. It might be a crazy thing. Might be a crazy statement coming out of my mouth, you know? Surprisingly. Or maybe not, you know? I don't know what the average age of my viewer base is. So, I would think growing up, if you said you didn't watch Borat or whatever, I don't think you would be seen as like an insane person or whatever. But I mean, you know, it was hard to go anywhere without at least having that movie like referenced or known of, you know what I mean? What's like, I don't want to say what's up with that, but like, I feel like we have lost that kind of, you know what I mean? I don't think this is the first time I've gone on this rant, but it's definitely not going to be the last either. But I feel like at least modern times, I can't really think of anything that we have kind of gone after like that, you know what I mean? Like, certain movies used to be like cultural phenomena, you know? Everybody knew about these movies. Everybody watched these movies. It was like not a rite of passage, but you know, everyone watched them, so everyone knew about them. Like if you ever talked about it growing up and stuff like that, like kind of like Infinity War, you know, like Marvel movies in the 2010s era. Marvel was on a monumental run of movies. Everybody watched Infinity War. Everybody watched Endgame. If you didn't, you were missing out on like some, I don't want to say some of the most important cultural discourse, but you know, let's be real here. Everybody talked about it. You know, you were at least missing out on something if you didn't watch it. Because that's all everyone would talk about for like the longest time was, you know, there were memes, so many memes about like Thanos and snapping people out of existence and, you know, being sent to the Shadow Realm or being snapped, you know. It was a huge cultural moment. And that everyone watched these movies. Everyone knew about these movies. It's, I don't want to say it was like a time of peace or whatever, but it was at least one thing that you could start a conversation on regardless. You know what I mean? Like if you went over to a, like if say you went to like a friend's birthday party and you know, there are a whole bunch of strangers or whatever there, people you don't know, you would at least have one thing in common in that like, yo, you guys see Infinity War? Everyone's like, dude, yeah, dude, it's so crazy. I know, right? You know, everyone was on it. And I feel like recently, I haven't seen anything kind of like that. The only thing I can think of is maybe, you know, you guys kind of agree or disagree with this statement. The movie Sinners. I feel like I have heard a lot about the movie Sinners in that it is one, a really good movie. Like, I went to go house sit for my uncle like a few weeks back. I think like 2 weeks ago or whatever. I remember telling you guys about this. And he went to go watch the movie Sinners. When he came back, he was like, dude, movie's fire. You gotta watch it. And I was like, yeah, haha, maybe I'll watch it. And then, you know, I see things online everywhere like, guys, this movie is like peak. You know, this movie is amazing. You have to watch this movie. And now my mind's kind of thinking like, huh, maybe I should go watch Sinners. You know, not to, you know, discount my uncle or whatever, where he was like, oh, he's telling me to watch it, and I'm like, oh, maybe I will. And then now that I'm seeing everyone else talking about it, but you know, it's piqued my interest. It piqued my interest when he mentioned it to me, and now that I've seen it everywhere else again, I'm like, maybe? Honestly, funny enough to say this, I feel like the last kind of movie to do that sort of like everyone knew about it, everyone watched it, was the FNAF movie, and it was for like my generation, you know what I mean? Like Gen Z, maybe Gen Alpha kids. I feel like the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was like the last one that, the last movie I can think of besides Sinners, I guess, in recent time, that everyone was like, dude, you gotta watch this. Maybe Dune too, but I mean, I try my best to not associate with anything Dune. I've said this before, but watched Dune for the first time a while back. I don't know, man. It just didn't grab me. I was like, man, I don't like this. You know, I was watching it and I was just like, I'm not a fan. I don't like this. Not my cup of tea. You know what I mean? I feel like more people got to admit to that. And I don't know, I'm not out here making like proverbs or whatever. You know what I mean? But I think it's kind of true. Is that I think more people out there should kind of be like, hey, maybe this thing just isn't for me. You know what I mean? I feel like now if someone listens to something or if someone plays something or watches something and it didn't appeal to them, they were like, this is bad, this is horrible, because I only watch good things. And if I watch this thing and I didn't like it, it's bad, which is like, it's not the case, you know? You know what I mean? I watch good movies. I watch a lot of bad movies. I play even more bad video games. So if something's out there is like, hey, this new movie came out and it's pretty good, you should watch it, and I watch it and I'm like, oh, I don't like the movie. Me personally, I was like, I didn't like the movie that much. That didn't necessarily mean the movie was bad. It's just not for me. I'm not the guy, because trust me, I have seen this argument one too many times, but I know there's that whole argument like, oh, if something's popular, does that mean it's good? No. If something's popular, that doesn't necessarily mean it's good. But also doesn't necessarily mean it's like bad or dog shit or anything, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people get that kind of mixed up. Not mixed up, but people have that opinion. And in my opinion, I don't think works too much, you know? Because, truth be told, yeah, I understand just because a lot of people like this thing doesn't make it good. But, I mean, a lot of people gotta like it for some reason, right? You know? Some aspect of it has to be appealing to a degree, you know? That's my argument for the whole... Sorry, I'm slightly stepping away from the microphone so I can... You know what I gotta do? I gotta get a standing desk. I gotta start recording these fucking episodes standing the fuck up. Excuse my language. Shit. Shit! You can't do this to me! I started this company. But, anyway, like I was saying. I mean, fuck it, man, you know? I'm not afraid to admit something's not for me. And I feel like more people should say that, you know? The one thing I can kind of think of was... well, I forgot the God of War dev, but you guys have heard the story, I'm pretty sure. It was like the former God of War like head developer had gone on to say around the release of Metroid Dread that like this game is bad and it's very poorly designed and here's how I would have did it, you know, that kind of deal. Former Hitman reacts to Hitman speedrun. Here's how I would have done it. Yeah, that's how I would have did it. You guys see that guy's like in Congress or something? Or like he's like the governor of a state or some shit like that? It's kind of... Oh, okay. I'm not anti-Wiz, but I know a lot of people are. And... I don't want to say I ruined my run. All I need is like one... Honestly, no, fuck. I already got rid of Telepathy for Dummies. If I got Telepathy for Dummies, this would have been a goated run. I'm talking top tier run for the ages. I just need Spoonbender. If I can get the ability to even get remote homing on my shots, that would be goated. Spoonbender or Brainworm, you know? One of those two. That's all I care about. Brother, open your fucking eyes. Thank you. But, what's the word I'm thinking of? You know, anyways, the freaking... The God of War former dev came out and was like, yeah, Metroid has bad design. And it's funny, because literally everybody was shitting on him. Because everyone knew the game didn't really have bad design. It was the first Metroid game to come out in the past couple years. It was the first 2D Metroid game to come out since Fusion, which was 17 years prior. Every Metroid fan loved it. Everyone who enjoys the Metroidvania genre loved it because, one, it's a very well-made game. But bro had to come in here and be like, this game's unintuitive. It's poorly designed. Here's how I would have done it. You know, I feel like these guys could have done better or whatever. You know what I mean? And then everyone was like, you're actually kind of wrong, brother. The game is actually insanely well-made. And like, I don't know why I don't know why you hating, brother, you know what I mean? And to me, that kind of, I feel like that was a moment of, you know, maybe I could be wrong. I don't want to like read too deep into this. I don't want to assume bro's thoughts when I'm not bro, you know what I mean? But in my mind, I'm out here thinking like, that's most likely a moment of like, I don't like this game. It's not for me, but instead of saying it's not for me, I'm gonna say, hey, this game is bad, you know? It sucks, you know? One, I think it fucking sucks. Hello? You're alive? Brother, you cannot be alive. You're wasting my fucking time if I'm being real here. I'm trying to make boss rush here, bro. Little bro, I'm trying to make boss rush and you're ruining it all. You're ruining it. Sorry. You guys know the video I'm talking about, my bad, you know? But it's just like, you know, because everyone, I'm not even joking, everyone agreed, brother, you're smoking crack, right? Like, you gotta be smoking crack because this Metroid game that came out is actually really good. So the fact that you're calling it trash, like, you know, like, a little iffy. Things are a little iffy on that front. I don't know if we can really trust your opinion. But it's just, what's the word I'm thinking of? You know, to me, in my opinion, that right there is the prime example of the whole like shit I was talking about, where it's like, this game just ain't for me. But instead, people don't want to say this game ain't for me. Instead, people got to be like, this game is an affront to God or some shit like that. And it's like, it's really not, bro. You just don't like it. You know, the game isn't poorly designed, you're just not a fan of it. And that's okay. It's okay to not be a fan of it, you know? Some people can hate bad things. Some people can hate good things. I meant to say good things. Some people can hate good things. That's okay. I am not a fan of Dune. It's not for me, but I know that it's good. Everyone talks about it like it's an amazing movie. So I know it has to be good at least to some point, right? But just to me, I don't fuck with it like that. Chemical Spill is such a good... Now, I have to do this to get Soul of Bethany, which is a solid unlock. Or I guess it's an okay unlock. But that's what I'm trying to get. That's what I am trying to get today. But I'm gonna be damned if losing Eve's Mascara didn't kind of hurt me, and also having the whiz not fuck up my shots, but you know, I want my shots to hit dead center, and this is a real challenge in having that be the case. But who knows? Maybe I just pop enough of these, things could get good. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Okay, I hope I don't get hit, because if I do get hit and TP'd out, I think I'm going to crash out and unironically cause harm to my PC. I won't actually, but you know, I'm gonna be very fucking pissed if that something bullshit does happen to me. We'll see how Tony can pull this off. But I mean, just, yeah, dude, I don't know, man. I feel like more people should just not admit, you know, movies ain't for them. You know, certain movies ain't for some people, certain things ain't for some people. That doesn't necessarily mean it's trash, brother. You know? Oh, give me a second, give me a second. My apologies, y'all. But just... yeah, I don't know, bro. Just some food for thought from Tony. You know what it is? You guys know what it is. You know how, you know, it's your boy Everett, you know. But like, yeah, like I was saying earlier, Dune just ain't for me. So that movie to me, I guess in general, that movie was like kind of like a cultural phenomena. You know, I saw a lot about it, but it didn't have as much of an impact as something like, you know, I'm talking about other movies. Like, dude, I was rewatching some movies with some friends. We were rewatching Winter Soldier. Because we're going through like all the Marvel movies and we're rewatching Winter Soldier, and my friend was talking about how like he had never seen some of these movies before, and I'm gonna be real with you, like something in my brain was like, that can't be right, you know? My friend had told me that he hadn't seen like Winter Soldier before or whatever, and in my mind I was thinking like, dude, with how many people like had gone to watch these movies when they were coming out, because I remember each theater experience for those Marvel movies, man. They were packed, they were crazy. Me and my brother went together to watch so many of those movies that a part of me is surprised at the news that he hadn't seen some of these, because it's like, dude, these were, you know, in my mind, I'm over here thinking everybody watched this. Turned out to not necessarily be the case, but honestly, even then, still a lot of people had watched it. He was just, I would say, one of the few that didn't. Especially if we're talking like Infinity War, because he had said he hadn't seen Infinity War or Endgame either, which is crazy because those movies grossed like that's like some of the top grossing movies all time, brother. You know, it's crazy. So in my mind, I'm over here thinking like, dude, this movie grossed so much. Like, one, it had grossed so much money. Like, he's gotta have seen it, or at least some of it before, right? But no, he was over here talking about how he's never seen it before. And my mind was just, I was in a daze, bro. I'm like, there's just no way, right? Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. I no longer miss. The Hemolacria and the Wiz combo has now been dubbed the GOAT. We got Soul of Bethany, bitches. Now here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna grab that Spirit Heart. We gonna full card the hell out, because we still got a lot to search for. We have one, a lot of rooms to go through. We need a key so we can actually go and get into our item room. You know, oh, secret room. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get here. Glitched crown and spin down dice. Holy shit. Okay. Glitched crown, really good. Did you guys hear the news? So, I actually haven't acknowledged this yet. I did say I got an update yesterday. During yesterday's recording, I got an update before I started recording, and I was like, that's weird. I don't remember actually getting anything. So I looked into it, aka I checked my Isaac front page, because me and my friend were actually playing Isaac last night, and I noticed, hey, there's something on the front page. What is this? I didn't see this before. And it was patch notes. They were a total patch notes of what was updated in the game, and I was surprised. One, I was like, wow, they have entire patch notes. It's no longer people just kind of trying to piece together what's new. Now there's like actual, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like actual notes from Edmund being like, hey, this is what was added, this is what was changed, which I thought was really cool, one. But among those patch notes was an unfortunate circumstance in being like, hey, look at this. So they removed the ability to pause buffer, because pause buffering no longer stops the rotation, and also, in fact, they nerfed pause buffering a shit ton by, when you pause, it will, in fact, speed up the rotation. Look closely in the middle. I paused, it instantly started flashing between items. So, unfortunate to say, yes, bitches. Sorry, didn't mean to yell. But yeah, it's unfortunate, I guess, kind of, you know? Not even kind of, it just is unfortunate. They nerfed pause buffering on Glitch Crown, which kind of sucks because it's the only way that you can properly get anything on that fucking, on that item anyways, you know what I mean? Usable fucking pill generator, dude, who cares? Who cares for that, you know? Why did I even buy it? Like, I was trying to get mystery gift or whatever, but instead I got, oh no. Hemolacria, please override Dr. Fetus. It didn't, but it made it so much better than I could have ever imagined. It didn't override it, but it low-key made it worth it all. I mean, look at that, bro. Come on. That is carpet bombing, bro. Got us out here carpet bombing in The Binding of Isaac, which is crazy. Crazy work. Devastating work, one might say. So I just didn't want to fight it, so I just let it happen. Let it happen. Let it happen. Sorry. I got the Tame Impala song stuck in my head because I said let it happen. It's like a brain rot term, but it's for music, you know what I mean? Isaac reference kind of deal. But regardless, anyways, forget what I was saying. Dude. One, sick. But, you know, I was just baffled by my friend for not knowing, for having not seen those movies, you know? I could understand maybe like, oh yeah, I didn't see like Age of Ultron, or I didn't see like the first Iron Man or something, you know, that I can understand. I'd be like, okay, yeah, wasn't necessarily too established, or like, you know, stuff like that. But like, oh, I didn't see Infinity War, I didn't see all of that. Like, brother, you know, in my mind, I was thinking like, everybody fucking saw those movies, you know? Some people I know watched that movie more than fucking once. Which baffled me even more by the concept. You know, this is very strong. I think this will fucking kill me though. I can say no hesitation, this shit most likely hasn't ruined me, but this will fucking kill me, bro. Oh! That's really good. Oh! Sorry. I got really fucking scared. I scrum. Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's ruined! The fuck, bro? My run is ruined! Don't nobody want this shit! That shit is fucking trash, dog. You know? Come on, bruh. What the fuck? Way to ruin the fucking fun, buddy. Excuse my language, but I'm just a little pissed, I guess you could say, you know? I was over here thinking Montrose Long was about to make this shit crazy. Instead, I still most likely, because I have Cursed Eye, I still probably TP when I get hit. You know? Or when I get hit while charging. This blows. Weenus. Whatever. We'll make do. You know what they say. This is going to kill me. I'm gonna fucking die. I am going to die. Okay, I need to find my items. Fuck. There's some, I can't do that. There's too much bad. You know what? Then it did get rid of something, but I don't know if I got rid of what I wanted it to. I think it got rid of technology. Man, I want that shit, bro. Fuck. Fuck this game. This stupid, dumb game. Divorce papers. Yeah, I guess. I fucking guess so. Alright. I see Bob's brain. I'm gonna try to get rid of that. And I see you. Okay, there we go. We have saved ourselves. Chat, we saved ourselves. I think. No, we lost technology, so that's very unfortunate loss. That is like a tier 1 loss. But Everything else, things are looking up. Everything else is looking up. Solid. See if we can't get it back. Tropisomide. Oh, tropisomide. I don't know why I laughed at that. It wasn't even fucking funny. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. I miss the movies, I guess, is kind of what Tony's saying here. Tony low-key misses film. Although I have been supplementing it with, like, I don't know. I've recently been watching shows that some might say are like classics, or you know. I've been trying to watch more shows that are, I guess, spoken about a bit more. Been watching Severance. Been watching recently. I only started recently watching this show, Abbott Elementary. And it sucks because I was watching Better Call Saul after Breaking Bad, but my mom's Netflix account, because she was the one paying for the Netflix, she decided to cancel it because things started getting a little hefty in the price. I don't blame her, you know. If the prices are going up and you don't want to pay those prices, I completely understand. You know, that makes complete sense. However, to me, someone who was watching that, I guess you could say, you know, you're like, hey, I was watching that. It kind of sucks. Because I was, in fact, watching that. And I didn't even get to finish Better Call Saul. I made it to season 2, and I'm cooked. Because it sucks. Because I am so enthralled in it, man. You know? I'm over here like, how did Vince Gilligan write such cinema? That's not a movie, you know? This is cinema, and it's like on the TV. How was this free? Or I guess not free. You had to pay for the AMC channel, I'm pretty sure. You know, with your cable package or whatever. But I mean, still, you know, I'm like, how is this like not a movie or something? Or I guess I can understand why it wouldn't be a movie. How do you guys feel about, I don't think there's like a necessary debate amongst this, but how do you guys feel about like shows versus movies? I think I used to be a huge movie guy. Growing up, I'm like, dude, movies are, one, they're very good. I usually saw them as like, what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't want to say better per se, but it's like, I mean, you can kind of understand what I'm talking about, right? Where it's movies, because they have like a higher budget or something. In my mind, I'm over here thinking they're like, you know, they're more produced. Things look a little bit more professional in a movie compared to a show or something. But then I realized that like writing is kind of like what it's all about. You know what I mean? And I will say, things like Breaking Bad, that shit had peak writing. There was another show, in my opinion, that used to have some of the best writing out there. I loved this show, and then they became bad, dude. I don't know what happened. I don't know if you guys are out there, but any classic Breaking Bad fans, not Breaking Bad, any Walking Dead fans out there? Because me, well, here goes another episode Zombies mentioned. I absolutely love zombies. Zombie media, anything zombie related, I am fucking front row there, buddy. You know? I am a huge fan of anything zombie related. And so, when The Walking Dead came out, I had seen this show with my brother. We used to watch the hell out of it, dude. I was like, this show is fire. Zombies in general are cool. Bitches, sorry. I don't know what I did. I just started spamming the buttons. I'm gonna be real. I saw that I got rock bottom and I was like, fuck it, let's just spam the button, see what happens. That is the case here. Will I die? Maybe. We'll see. But dude, me and my brother used to be huge into The Walking Dead. We loved the hell out of that show, man. Anything zombie related, I'm a fan of, and The Walking Dead, it just kind of hit the right spots, you know what I mean? Because in my mind, I like zombie media because it's cool, one, and if in terms of like games, Resident Evil just was cool. It was like not depressing, but you know, it was interesting, man. Shit was fire. I'm gonna kill myself, bro. I'm actually going to accidentally kill myself. I have rubber cement with Ipecac. This is the devil. The devil at work. And Loki's horns. I'm gonna kill myself, man. I can't do this. I can't. Have mercy. Have mercy on my soul, please. I better beg for forgiveness, bro, because this is where it starts to come in. Okay. Okay. I'm alive. But just... You don't need me to go on about zombies. I've gone on about zombies enough. But The Walking Dead was such an amazing show that also aired on AMC along with Breaking Bad. And honestly, if we're talking like watching good television, me and my brother watched the first like 5 or 6 seasons of The Walking Dead. And I know at a certain point people are probably like, oh, it stopped being good around like this season, it stopped being good around that season. I understand, you know, I get it. I'm with you on that one. But from what we watched, we enjoyed it thoroughly and I thought it was damn good. Now I do know as we got into the later seasons, we kind of started falling off, you know, we were like, we didn't really watch it that much anymore. Things kind of got, not cringe, but you know, things just weren't, it wasn't what the show used to be. And it's not that we don't like change, but like it changed for the worse, you know? Things in The Walking Dead changed for the worse. It like actively became a bad, not necessarily a bad show, but it's nowhere near the peak it used to be. In terms of how good it used to be, you know? And so we stopped watching it. And from what I know, you know, with hindsight, after we stopped watching it, things turned out to not necessarily go in the best direction. It turned out that the show still was kind of like, yeah, it's not really that good. You know, things kept changing and things kept getting worse. This kind of blows. And it sucks to hear because, like I said, I was a huge fan of that show because there was nothing like it out, you know? There was nothing covering zombie kind of media like that. I guess around that time, maybe, you know, that's kind of like when the zombie fever was sort of going around, but I feel like it wasn't, you know, it wasn't at the point where people are like, oh, I'm tired of zombies. I think it just kind of not ran its course, I guess, but it wasn't that good. Unfortunately, it just wasn't peak cinema, they call it. I'm fucking cooked! I'm cooked! This room is gonna kill me. Yo, stop that. Yeah, I'm losing all the shit that made my run good. This is why I hate Lemegeton, man. Lemegeton is such a good item when it wants to do good. And also, I feel like we've gotten 0 fucking Spirit Hearts post, like, a certain point in this run. I'm not tripping, right? We just stopped getting spirit hearts at a certain point. I'm dead. I'm dead. That sucks. Is that this was such a solid run that became cooked. Why did I pop the tower? Maybe it's just the like the brain in me being like, just end it, bro. Just end it all. What the fuck hit? Whatever. Whatever. We at least got Soul of Bethany, which is all I wanted to get the run for. Anyways, Breaking Bad kind of fell off. Not Breaking Bad. Walking Dead fell off, which sucks because I used to love that show. And I'll probably in another episode go more into depth about how it died or whatever, you know. Anyways, want to thank y'all for watching. If you guys did enjoy, greatly appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day and or good night, depending on the time you're viewing this. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace out.